You're joined now with an unbeaten prospect in MMA. Horacio Escobar, you are taking on what is deemed, and it has to be easily be, your toughest challenge yet, coming on the 21st, in the shape of William Joplin. You must be absolutely pumped to get an opportunity like this against someone who's really going to set the mark on where you are in your career.
You know, when the name came across to offer, or the offer to fight on came across, it was confirmation that I was on the right path and I was going in the right direction. You know, the tougher the fight gets, the better off everything else gets, you know. So whenever I got the opportunity to fight Joplin, it was just more like, okay, finally it's time for the test. You know, I was kind of waiting for it already.
Yeah, it's just who is it going to be was the question.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
well,
go on, mate. Go on, you carry on.
Oh, well, you know, whenever I was already prepared, I had been real busy this year trying to get somewhere, and so I had just been waiting for the right fight. When this one came along, it sang the right tune, it had the right opportunities to it, and I'm just ready to go for it, you know?
Now, the interesting thing about this kind of fight that I love is it really is two contrasting styles. And what I mean by that, William Joplin, he can really grind a fight. He can do 3 hard rounds. But you yourself, you don't like to sit around too long. You like to get out pretty quick. You don't like to sit down in between rounds. You're a first rounder kind of guy. And that's what I love about this. It's almost like it's either going to go William's way or your way. And it's super interesting.
You know, a lot of people have been telling me that I'm a first round finisher, but my amateur career, I had a lot of fights go 2-3 rounds. I mean, granted, there were only 3-minute rounds, but I've gone the distance before in lower fights, so I'm not worried if this goes past the second round. I'm expecting it to go to the third round. I'm expecting it to get grinded out because I know Joplin. I've seen him fight around town, you know, and I've actually met the guy face to face personally before all this, so I know the kind of person he is. I know the kind of fighter he is, and I know that he's going to bring his game. I know he's going to be ready to go November 21st. So it's just going to be a question of what happens when it happens. You know, I know he's going to be ready, and I know it's going to go all 3 rounds. It's going to be one of those fights that everybody's going to want to see.
So it's a case of obviously be ready for everything and hope for the best. You know, like
it is. It's having that mindset ready as well, because when you've had those 3 rounds, you know, in the bag, it's key. I think on a pro level, you've done it in the amateur ranks. I think actually getting a good fight in you, like a 3-round fight. It doesn't have to be 3 full rounds, but just going to the 3rd round.
Good for the confidence.
It does good for the confidence. It helps you as well.
Yeah,
it helps you assess.
I think at this point in time in my career, you know, I'm 33 years old, so I'm not as young as some of these cats. So I think at this point in my career, being 4-0, fighting somebody like Joplin is a good mark, and I think it's good for me to see if I can get those 3 rounds in. You know, if anybody's going to be willing to take me deep into those rounds, it'd be Joplin, and I'm curious myself to see what the turnout's going to be, to test myself and to see what my ability and my agilities how far they could take me, you know.
It is, yeah, that's the thing, because if you can get to the 3rd round, you can then definitely get a very good assessment after the fight on where you are physically. You go, right, okay, maybe I need to work on this, maybe I need to work on that. It's great, because when you get the 1st round finishes, albeit there is a lot to learn in a 1st round just as much as there is in a 3-round fight.
Gives you more to analyse.
There's more to analyse, and you can get...
Exactly. You know, my mind is prepared on the education of this fight. You know, what is this fight going to teach me? Whether I win or lose, I think at this point for me is irrelevant. It always has been. You know, I always try to learn from each fight and try to grow as a fighter and as a person at that. But I think with this fight, it brings very similar problems that I've met in the past, but it brings new ones aboard too. So, you know, my training camp is with the American Top Team. I'm training with Jason High and Elsie Davis, and I'm getting a lot of work all the way around the table. So whatever comes up on November 21st, I think I'm going to be very much prepared for. So, you know, like I said, it's going to be one of those fights that everybody's going to want to see, you know?
I suppose, does it give you that kind of buzz, feeding off the fact that you're going to be the main event as well on Shamrock FC? It's a very good promotion to be part of, and being the main event, it's a nice label to have. You know, it's an honour almost in a way that promotions are wanting to put you as a main event. Do you kind of feed off that energy, the fact that they put that faith in you?
You know, being the main event, it just kind of adds on to the pressure, but it, you know, at this point, that's where everybody wants to be. You know, you want to be in the limelight. You want to be the name that everybody remembers and the fight that everybody talks about. And so I've kind of been preparing myself mentally for that for a while now. So now that it's here, it's kind of like, okay, this is what I've been wanting. This is what I've been hoping for. Now it's here, so let's not disappoint. You know, my main concern is to show up ready to put on a great show for the fans. Shamrock FC has always been great to me. They've always treated me real well, so I'm hoping to not let them down and put on a great show, especially as the main event. I'm expecting myself to be at my top tip shape and to put on a very, very outstanding performance.
And when you met him in the past, I take it you spoke. Did you think to yourself at the time, you know, our paths might cross again, you know, inside the cage, or you know, and if so, did you find yourself sort of sizing yourself up, you know, against him, sort of thing?
No, you know, I'm kind of one of those people that just live in the moment. You know, I take things for as they come. I don't try to take on too much that I can handle, but I think you always got to be ready for a test. So, you know, Joplin's a worthy opponent to say the least, and I know it's going to bring different challenges, but I think if I prepare well, which I'm doing, I think I'll be all right. And even if we go all the way down to the third round, I think it's just going to be something that the people want to see anyway. So, you know,
yeah, I think you're in great hands, especially being at ATT. The guys can break down, you know, your opponents very well. You've got a great guys at that place who can really articulate how well a fighter you're going up against and how to break it down. And you know,
these guys at the American Top Team, LC Davis and Jason I, the way we break down training and do training, it works out for me. You know, my time there since I've gotten there has done nothing but improve my game. So yeah, the mental aspect of it, you know, having my training partners like Jacob Akins and Elsie Davis and a couple other guys at that gym at American Top Team, you know, it's an all around thing. You got to prepare yourself all the way around, and even for the sound of the night, you know, that changes too. Every event brings on their own challenges, and I think this one with me being the main event, it's just a question of handling the pressure and delivering what I need to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. They can talk to you about what the psychological side of things. They can help on that side because they've got such good experience. You know, it's really invaluable, that kind of stuff. I think that people may not appreciate if they've not dealt with it, if they've not had someone to help them out with that. I think it's something they can't appreciate. So you're in very good hands coming into this fight, which, like we said at the start, it's a really good fight. It's a really showing where you're going to be after the fight. You know, you'll know where you are, and I think having the guys there at ETT to help you, it's almost invaluable.
Yeah, it's another element of the
the importance. You know, when you meet somebody who's been in a few fights and they've been in the game and they've been the main event, they've been the co-main, they've been that big name on the card before, and when you get a little taste of what their experience was like, whether however the outcome may be, it definitely helps, you know, and just preparing yourself and what to expect and what could come up, you know. I mean, once the gate closes, usually the plane just goes out the window and we just go at it, right? But, I mean, you want to try to prepare as much. You want to try to prepare as much as you can, you know.
Yeah, you do, right. Absolutely.
I tell you what, it's not the first time I've seen or heard that.
Yeah, we've heard that before. Yeah,
you know, everybody's got a game plan until you get punched in the face, and it's like, oh snap!
Yeah, it is, my friend. I have to agree with you on that one. It is one of them.
Yeah, sometimes he's like, well, this isn't a film I paid for.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? That's what makes
you know.
that's what we love about the sport, man. It's then there's no set way.
Yeah, you can't script it.
You can't, and that's
You can't
what
script it. You know,
and
that's
what
what you love about it.
Yeah.
When this sport first started out, I watched it on TV and videos here and there, but it was never something that like, oh man, I want to grow up and do that. What drew me into it was meeting the people and watching local people just come up and they start getting known and they start making something of themselves. When I first met Rob Kimmons out here in Kansas City, he was just starting out in the UFC, and now he's a well-established gym owner. He's got a good team with him, and he's a well-established dude in the game and outside of the game. So seeing people like that and meeting people like that, like James Krause, who started back in the amateur days, back when I first even got wind of it all, and now to see him become a gym owner and running his own team and becoming a successful fighter that way. I mean, that's what drew me into it, So the sport itself is starting to grow into something that can actually produce stuff for people, and like give people hope and dreams and be able to do more than just step into a cage and beat somebody up. It transcends all that. And so I think with that, it breeds a whole different class of fighters now. You got guys who have been grinding it out for years and years, and nowadays it seems like it's easier to get more noticed, and I think that's what's drawing in all these new fighters and giving MMA a new face, and I'm hoping from here on out, I'm one of those guys that stay in the line, stay in those names, and people see, that I'm here to do something. I don't mean to go anywhere anytime soon.
You've nailed it on the head there. What the sport has turned for people, it's turned them into a different direction that they maybe wouldn't have had the opportunity to do. Like you said, like for example, the best one is to talk about the big UFC names like Ronda ended up doing movies. Tim Kennedy's doing a documentary series. Bisping's done TV. There's a ton of people who have went off on a different direction that they wouldn't have maybe, like Rich Franklin did a squash, what was it, a fruit bar or something like that? Juice bar, sorry. Yeah. He did juices.
Yeah.
So.
I've seen some of these documentaries and they're pretty good, and when you meet fighters and you're like, oh, he's a fighter, and you meet that part of the person, but then when you get deeper into it and you realize some of these guys are more than just fighters. They're fathers, they're teachers, they're workers, they're this, they're that, and when you start to get to that side of the sport, it's like, oh man, it turns into a more personal situation, and I think that's what the fans are starting to enjoy more. These local shows are starting to give these local guys a platform to perform on, and it's starting to become more of a sport, more of an art, and I think that in itself is an accomplishment for all of us fighters out there. We're taking this sport and we're developing into something that can actually be something.
Yeah.
And I was also going to say, and pretty much everyone that I know that's involved in it, pretty much everyone, not everyone, but pretty much everyone, is a pretty decent human being at the same time. And
yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's nice to be able to say that. I'm not just sort of blowing up MMA's trumpet, I'm genuine when I say that.
Because it's a humbling sport. I think that's one of the key things.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It is. I've the guys that I've fought and beaten or even lost to. There's a few of them that I still stay in contact with, and even a couple of them that I started training with, and it's a different brotherhood once you get into the deeper part of the game, and we all started from somewhere, and we're all looking for the same thing, and sometimes I think in different ways we kind of deal with the same problems, and the same adversities during training and trying to get to that next fight, and I think that's where most of us find our common ground, and we tend to have that common understanding between each other.
Yeah, it is. I'm with you on that one. Absolutely, there's a brotherhood that it really is hard to explain unless you've experienced it. For people, you said before about you want your name, hopefully you'll have your name out there in a way that will show that you're not just an MMA fighter. It might branch off into different directions. What about for people at home then who maybe want to join you on the journey then and maybe see what happens next in your future, not just on the 21st, but after? What have you got any social media stuff that people can follow, so to speak, to maybe experience?
Right now, if anybody wants to find me, it's pretty much you can just go at bhthefighter.com, and I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook, and so usually I stay pretty busy there, because I got 3 kids. I got kids at home, and I gotta raise them, and I got a full-time job that I do too. So I stay pretty busy, but most of the time everybody can get at me on Facebook under H the Fighter. Instagram under H the Fighter, and I'm always fighting for Shamrock here in Kansas City. I love Kansas City. I moved here about 17 years ago. It's my adopted home, and I'll do anything for this city.
And
here recently, the Kansas City Royals just won the Royal Series, so big ups to the Kansas City Royals. Go Royals, go Blue. So I want to say what's up to them and let my city know I'm proud of them for that.
And I was about to say, for folks at home, we will put a picture up on our Facebook page, and we'll have all the details for you to jump onto his social media links, etc. So you can't miss out, and you've got no excuse. So you've got no excuse not to jump on. So we'll put that on there for you, buddy. What about sponsors? Have you got anyone out there backing you up, helping you out?
My sponsors are. I have one of my main sponsors is Jetstream Guttering. Based out of Kansas City. They are actually the company that I work for, but they are one of my main sponsors. Another one of my sponsors is Varsity Sports out here in Kansas City. They help me out with the shirts, and then there's American Top Team, who's giving me a home and a place to train, and my trainers LC Davis and Jason High, who've not given up on me and has helped me get better and more consistent. And there's a bunch of other people that I can go down, but those are the main people right now. Other than that, the entire city of Kansas City and my county, Wyandotte County, who's been in my corner the entire time.
Hey, that's great to hear the support you've got there. And look, ATT showed their faith in you, and it's paying off. 4-0. It's not like they're doing anything wrong in your pro career. Look, have a great time on the 21st. Have a fantastic weekend.
I will. Yeah, don't let nobody forget that November 21st, the ambush is real. So at Shamrock FC, come down and see me. It's going to be a great show. Don't be the guy telling the story, or don't be the guy that hears the story. Be the guy that tells the story.
Exactly. And if you can't make it, you can watch it online. If you go to the Shamrock FC website, you can pay and watch it. They have a live stream. Fantastic production.
Yeah, I know. I've met people that have done that. It's great quality. It's a good show either way, no matter how you do it.
Yeah, you're spot on. It is great quality. So if you can't make it, if you live obviously in a different part of the world, you can always watch it in a different part of the world. So do tune in. It's going to be a hell of a show.
Work nights or something like
that. If you work shift work or whatever, it's going to be a hell of a night. So
I'm not saying I ever do that.
No, but
I know of people that do.
Yeah. So have a great fight yourself. Have a great time at the event. It's going to be another stellar time at Shamrock FC.
Thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your guys' day, and I hope I see you guys out there.
You won't, because we'll tell you now before we even stop this interview. We are in the UK, my friend, so we are going to keep a close eye online.
Well, keep a close eye online, man, and then hit me up on some video stream, man. I'll give you guys some intel on the fights or recap or something.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep it. We'll be keeping an eye on the 21st. Don't you worry. We'll definitely give you a hit up, my friend. And thank you for giving us some of your time today to talk to us. By the way, thanks for jumping on.
Not a problem. Thank you for calling.